welcome to Take on Tech. We have a packed up show for you with very insightful topics, especially an interview coming up in not too long with Githaiga. We also have updates for you on tech news, both locally and internationally. Tech of the Week feature will also be coming up in a few minutes. So much for you. This is the place to be. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or on our fan page at Take on Tech. My name is Stephanie Ayieta. The government of Kenya has a target to increase the share of electric vehicles by 5% on all car imports. Therefore, we are asking you, what are some of the policies that should be put in place to ensure we have an enabling environment for the adoption of electric vehicles? For instance, Norway, which is the leading country in electric vehicles, has an exemption on all toll roads or ferries. So what are some of the policies that we should adopt as a country to ensure the adoption of electric vehicles in our country? Talk to us. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or at Take on Tech. That is our fan page. In tech news, the proposed broadcasting regulations warn broadcasters of unequal coverage during the elections. And internationally, we tell you of the swappable batteries technology being adopted in electric vehicles by a Chinese vehicle manufacturer. This and much more in our Tech News Roundup. Some countries are taking steps towards a technology that was once a white whale of electric vehicle manufacturing: swappable batteries. Chinese car manufacturer NIO opened an electric vehicle battery swapping station in Norway early this year, which enables a driver to swap drained batteries in a matter of minutes. The company hopes that swapping out the entire battery will appeal to customers worried about the range of electric cars or who simply don't like queuing to recharge. One books a slot on NIO's app, and once inside the station, he or she parks on the designated markings and waits in the car. The battery is then automatically removed from underneath the vehicle and replaced with a fully charged one, a process that takes less than 5 minutes. According to NIO's Power and Operations Manager, this method is more effective than recharging as it saves the driver 30 to 40 minutes of standing outside waiting for the car to recharge. He adds that there is no battery degradation as one always gets a healthy battery, hence long-lasting cars. The station can handle up to 240 swaps a day, and the firm plans to create 20 in Norway. It also partnered with energy giant Shell to roll them out across Europe. Low taxes on electric vehicles, widespread charging infrastructure, and perks like exemption from tolls, access to bus lane, and free public parking have all helped Norway achieve the highest rate of EV adoption in the world. Legislators are deliberating on a proposed law named the Kenya Information and Communication Regulations 2022. The draft that has been published for public scrutiny. Among the many proposals that the draft presents are guidelines to be followed by broadcasters during the election period. This is that during an election period, a licensee shall provide equitable coverage and opportunities to registered political parties participating in an election, and in particular to presidential candidates. They should ensure that the name of the political party or sponsor, if any, on whose behalf a broadcast is made, is announced immediately before the commencement and immediately after such a broadcast. They should not permit any broadcast sponsored by or made on behalf of a political party other than that of an advertisement thereof to be dramatized. They should ensure that employees of the licensee in the execution of their duties do not wear or exhibit symbols or appear with outfits or logo associated with any political party or contestant during the election campaign period. They should also ensure that the licensee or its employer do not accept gifts, favors or special treatment by political parties or other interests that compromise professional integrity and editorial independence. They ought to give political parties and candidates the right of reply where a report aired under the editorial responsibility of the licensee contains inaccurate information or unfair criticism based on distortion of fact. They should also ensure that its presenters who are on air do not in any way campaign for any person who wishes to seek an elective position during the electioneering campaign period. They also ought not to broadcast views that could incite violence or advocate hatred that is based on race, ethnicity, gender, religion, or political convictions, and that constitute incitement to cause harm to candidates participating in elections or the general public. In our Tech of the Week, we bring you a feature that looks into the gene drive technology that will help in tackling the female Anopheles mosquito in an effort of eradicating malaria. This is it. Research group Target Malaria is testing gene drives on malarial mosquitoes in laboratories. Dr. Jonathan Kayondo, a principal investigator for Target Malaria in Uganda, says malaria is one of the oldest diseases on the planet, and despite decades of efforts, a child still dies of malaria every minute. Here's how the gene drive technology works. While standard genetic modification introduces a new lab-tweaked gene into an organism, gene drive technology goes one stage further. It introduces a gene drive, that is, a lab-created gene that can also automatically replicate itself, that targets and removes a specific natural gene. For instance, if an animal, call it parent A, contains a gene drive, mates with one that doesn't, call it parent B. Then in the forming embryo that starts to combine their genetic material, parent A's gene drive immediately gets to work. It recognizes the natural gene version of itself in the opposite chromosome from parent B and destroys it by cutting it out of the DNA chain. Parent B's chromosome then repairs itself, but does so by copying parent A's gene drive. So the embryo and the resulting offspring are all but guaranteed to have the gene drive A. It is therefore hoped that gene drives can be used to greatly reduce the numbers of malarial mosquitoes and other pests or invasive species. This process is more effective than standard DNA because as every single offspring has the introduced gene trait, it spreads much faster and further. One organization at the forefront of this, Target Malaria, which has developed gene drives that stop mosquitoes from producing female offspring, say this is important for two reasons. One, only females bite, and two, without females, mosquitoes' numbers will fall. The core aim is to greatly reduce the number of people who die from malaria, of which there were sadly 627,000 in 2020 according to the World Health Organization. While the technology has not yet been authorized for use in the wild, there are no bans against continuing laboratory research into it. After serious debates in 2018, the United Nations Convention on Biodiversity ruled that this may continue. That has been Tech of the Week. Remember, you can still engage with us on our social media handles at KBC Channel 1 or at Tech on Tech, where you answer our question. We have asked you, what are some of the policies we can adopt as a country to create an enabling environment for the adoption of electric vehicles? Talk to us. The hashtag to use is Tech on Tech. We now join Grace Githaiga for Tech Talk for some amazing insights.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that introduction. Welcome to the interview section of Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological concepts and debates and breaks them down in an untech way. Now, the issue of agriculture in this country is huge. Providing food security for all, now and in the future, is Kenya's national goal, which is embedded in Kenya's constitution, in the Vision 30, and in the Big Four agenda. Now, agriculture is key to Kenya's economy, employing 40% of total population and more than 70% of Kenya's rural people. In today's interview section, we are looking at re-imaging Kenya's agriculture through technology innovation, and how youth can also participate. In the studio, we have Franc Mwangi. Karibu sana, Franc. Franc is a communications manager with HEIFER International and is here to break down the issues for us. Franc, welcome to the program. And we'll just go straight away to the issue of technology and agriculture. When we talk of agri-tech, please break it down for us.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Grace, for having me. And nice to have this discussion. I think at HEIFER International, we value tech. And just before that, I believe that it's good to give context. HEIFER International, we have been a trusted partner of African farmers for now since 1981 here in Kenya. And as you said, farming need technology. And when you talk about agri-tech, it is application of, technology or, to increase yield. It doesn't have to be application. It can be in production, it can be in value addition. So we are not just talking about tech or application, the apps as people know it, but whatever can be applied to increase yields and productivity, and as a result, leading to more productivity for farmers. So how can we apply all these concepts as you are saying them? And I think that is a very good discussion to have.
Okay. Now, Franc, let's just now go straight into the discussion. You've pointed out the different areas that technology is important in improving productivity. Please break it down for us. In what ways then it is an enabler in promoting agriculture productivity? Okay.
Yeah, that's very good. And I'll just give it a context. As one of the lessons from COVID-19, for instance, at HEIFER International, we work with extension workers. These are the people who train farmers. When COVID set in, we were not, because of the restriction of movement, crowd restrictions, we were not able to do that. But we had to resort to technology. How can you train farmers through technology? How can you train extension workers through technology? We started embracing technology, things like farmer training apps, digitizing content, and also using things like webinars and all that. So when you talk about tech, it is very important because we also did a study, in the wake of COVID-19, and we found that across Africa, this study was conducted in 11 countries in Africa, and we found that technology is one of the key barriers at 14%, that is facing smallholder farmers in Africa. So there is need for us to rethink the way we engage farmers. And we have seen in Kenyan context, we have had very great innovations. We are talking about DigiFarm, DigiCow, and farmers are have training forums using these technologies. So it is very important. It is not just about training, but we are talking about also doing, transacting business, linking farmers with service providers, linking cooperatives with service providers. So technology is very important, and we are saying we need to embrace it, and we have to have that debate.
Now, you've raised something interesting that during COVID, you were training farmers through webinars. And I am just picturing myself, as a farmer sitting somewhere, maybe in Meru. And there's this webinar. How did you reach the farmers? And how did they what was their response rate?
It was a new thing, to be honest. Okay, well, we were not training farmers per se, but we were training the extension workers team to be able to cascade that to farmers, okay? So it was a very interesting time. The issue of internet connectivity here in Kenya. So it is not just a button you press. It is a process. You try to train them and tell them why this is very important. So when we were doing that, we could prepare them, and eventually I could say the uptake was good, and because of we didn't know what this COVID thing is, yeah? We didn't know when it was going to end. You know, there was a good uptick, you know, a very impressive uptick, and now we have normalized that. I mean, nowadays we do seminars with trainers in Sweden, in the US, in Kenya, yeah? So it is the new thing, technology, yeah.
Okay, I think that's clear, because at some point I got confused whether it was the farmers themselves having to attend webinars. Now, when we think of farming, we think of old people. And yet, you pointed out there are also opportunities for the youth. So how can we inspire or engage or even involve our youth in this agriculture space, maybe using technology?
Yeah, we believe that, as you are saying, even someone was giving an example in high school. One of the things that you are, when you make a mistake, you are given a punishment. Go work and do some technology work. Go, you know, and technology has been, agriculture has been categorized as a punishment, okay? And the youth do not see technology as a desirable career. So at HEIFER International, we were, how can we use technology as an incentive for the youth? Because even the youth in agriculture, in the study that we did, the role of technology and the youth in, you know, defining Africa's agriculture, we found that only 23% of the youth already in agriculture are using technology, okay? So we are saying the youth are the early adopters of technology. They are in WhatsApp, they are in Facebook, they are all social media platforms, including TikToks and all that. So we found that for us to make an entry point and ensure that there is no stigmatization of agriculture as a career for the Kenyan youth, because we need their productivity, they're energetic, they have time. So we need to be smart and package agriculture narrative, be it training. You don't need the youth to go for a whole day workshop or baraza to be able to attend training. They have access to technology. So we are seeing that technology, agri-tech, gives us an opportunity to make that entry and capture this youth and change that perception. It takes time, it takes behavior change, but we believe we are going to get there.
Yeah, okay, quite interesting, because, you know, when we speak of farming, we talk of OCHA. We think of the old people, we think of our parents. So that's quite interesting. Take on Tech takes a short break, and when we come back, Franc will tell us more on how we can engage our youth in agriculture using technology. Please continue following us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across all our social media handles. The hashtag is #TakeOnTech. You're watching the interview section of Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological concepts and debates and breaks them down in an untech way. In today's interview section, we are looking into re-imaging Kenya's agriculture through technology and innovation, and how we can engage more youth. Now, in the studio, we have Franc Mwangi from HEIFER International. Franc, before we went on break, you were telling us how important it is for the youth to get involved in agriculture. So tell us, what do we need to do as far as applying technology and engaging our youth in agriculture is concerned? You know, are there things that we need to do differently to get them more interested?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to change. One of the things we need to do is there is need for actors in this agriculture space to invest in agri-tech, again, agri-tech innovations, so that we can attract the youth in, you know, agriculture-related endeavors. Key things, again, I go back to a study, because evidence, data is very important, and that's why for us, when we were starting our strategy for engaging youth through technology, we found that we need to have the data, you know, we have to be driven by data. And three key things came up. one of them for us, the areas that the youth need to be supported. Number one is funding, of course, training, okay, and access to agriculture technology, access to technology. Let me speak to two of them. Access to technology is very important. As I mentioned, we need to, even the agriculture content that is available does not have to be physical manuals the way we are used to do it. We have to digitize content and put them in a user and youth-friendly formats. We are talking about visualizing content, doing bit-sized videos, and that is one of our strategy at HEIFER International. We are now working with innovators to ensure that the youth access this content. You know, is it through the app? We have worked with Kuza Biashara, we have worked with DigiCow, we have worked with Arifu, we have even worked with many others, because that is the space that the youth are in. So when it comes to investment, we have to look at it holistically and think mentorship. Again, when you talk about training and mentorship, we have also to look at our curriculum. Yeah? We are happy that now the 4K clubs have been sort of revitalized. The government of Kenya has revitalized that. You can also start teaching or mentoring the youth through the 4K clubs at a very young age. In our engagement with the stakeholders, they have told us, please, this is a space that we must occupy. Lastly, there must be some motivation. And that is where rewarding innovation is very important. After we finished that study, we got a realization that we also need to give them incentive and motivation. So rewarding innovation, that's where it comes in. And I'm happy in the agri-tech space, there have been a lot of initiatives to reward innovation. We are talking about competitions. And HEIFER International in 2021, out of that realization of the need to reward innovation, we initiated or we started what we are calling Ayieta Africa competition. Ayieta simply means agriculture, youth, and technology. So, yes, Ayieta. So what we did is we had startups across Africa, and we were rewarding, the award value for this competition at the regional level was $1.5 million. Yeah? And we were looking for a winner in East Africa, and a startup in East Africa, West Africa, and Southern Africa. In a nutshell, we had one of Kenyan startups called Hello Tractors being the eventual winner of that competition. We also had Code Hubs in Nigeria being eventual winner in that competition. Not just winners, Kuza Biashara was one of the participants, but they did not win. But out of that, we have been able to develop content programs that are able to support farmers. Okay, so rewarding innovators is very important, but this is not just about winners. Okay, so it's also about mentoring. You know, so closer home in this year we have launched the Ayieta competition here in Kenya. We just launched it this week, and we have started call for entries. Yeah, so rewarding innovation is very important, and also support them. It's not just about the prize money, it's mentoring the incubation that comes with it. So in this competition, we are going to reward 3 winners in Kenya, and also out of the participant, the top 15 finalists are going also to receive training and mentorship for a period of 3 years after post-award. Yes.
How long is the challenge? How long is the challenge, and how is that information getting out there to the youth?
Oh, fantastic. So the challenge opened on 14th of June, and we are going to run this call for entries for 1 month. So the challenge closes on 14th of July. So please check us out. Check Ayieta Africa. Just type Ayieta Africa, and you can see the details on how to apply. We also have we are very active on social medias, where we believe that is the space where the youth are. You can find us on HEIFER International Kenya on Facebook. You can also find us more information on how to apply on HEIFER Kenya on Twitter and HEIFER International Kenya on LinkedIn. In terms of the prize, yeah, we are talking about the winner will get an award of 1 million Kenya shillings to advance their innovation. The runner-up is going to get 750,000 Kenya shillings. The second runner-up, that is number 3, will get 250,000 Kenya shillings. All of them are also going to get incubation and mentorship that they are going, we believe we are going to work together with them. It's not just about winning, we need to handhold them, and that is the journey. So it takes time, and that's why we also want to invest in training and mentorship.
Okay, thank you so much, Frank, for that useful information. I assume and hope that some of our young innovators who are interested in agriculture have seen that. So we were talking about re-imaging Kenya's agriculture through technology and innovation, and how to engage our youth more in agricultural business. So thank you so much. That's it from us, from the interview section of Take on Tech. Please continue following us, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across all our social media handles. My name is Grace Githaiga.
In Innovators Club, we bring you some great minds who share their innovations. We also challenge you to try out something new, be a little innovative. So how about some DIY for you today? There it goes. We now draw the curtain on today's show. Thank you for joining us. We always appreciate your company. Remember, you can still interact with us on our social platforms at KBC Channel 1 or at Take on Tech, where you answer our question: what are some of the policies that we can put in place to ensure we have an enabling environment for the adoption of electric vehicles in Kenya? The hashtag to use is Take on Tech. You can also get me on my social media platforms at Stephanie Ayieta. Let's meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.